What is cell wall? Very simple. Dead, rigid covering outside the plant cell, isn't it? But don't you think so that is the definition of the class 8 and 9, isn't it? So what is the definition according to class 11 and 12? Thinking? This is Dr. Pankaj Kumar and I am mentor for today's session. So first of all, let's learn what could be the technical definition for a cell wall. You know, if I say that cell wall is a dead rigid covering, then you see our nail is also a dead rigid covering and it is also a protective one. Can we call it as a cell wall? No, sorry, we can't. So there must be some scientific definition for it, right? And what is the scientific definition? And the definition is that cell wall is of course dead rigid covering, but chemically it should be made up of polymer of carbohydrate. I repeat, chemically it should be made up of polymer of carbohydrate. That is the key point as far as the cell wall is concerned. So today we will discuss about that what are the main points regarding the cell wall. Okay. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about the chemical nature of the cell wall that is found across all the species. Okay. For instance, in case of plant, what happens? Cell wall is actually made up of cellulose, peptidoglycan, right? So that is also one of the chemical composition of cell wall, but peptidoglycan is present in case of bacteria. Okay. Similarly, there is a one more chemically cell wall, that is polysaccharide, and that polysaccharide is found in case of archaebacteria. Okay. And there is a one chitin, and chitin is actually found in case of fungi, right? But all these, if you are talking about cellulose, peptidoglycan, polysaccharides, chitin, all are nothing but they are polymer of carbohydrate. So that's why we are calling them a cell wall, right? Let's talk about the different layers of the cell wall. Okay. So altogether we can say that cell wall is made up of four basic layers, what we call middle lamella, primary wall, secondary wall and tertiary wall. We can see this in the diagram as well. You can see there this black structure or black colored structure what we see, this is actually the middle lamella. So middle lamella we can say this is a cementing material between two adjoining plant cells. Okay. And between the middle lamella or just adjacent to the middle lamella, what we see, there is a primary wall. So this is actually primary wall, right? And then below the primary wall there is a secondary wall, and below the secondary wall there is a tertiary wall. So this is how the layered structure that is going to be present in case of cell wall. Okay. The only thing what differentiate between primary, secondary and tertiary wall is nothing but its chemical nature and what is the compound or the deposition material that is present over there. That is the only way in which we can differentiate, right? So we will learn about that. So first of all, let's talk about the middle lamella. So middle lamella is what? That is a cementing material between the two cells, right? So there must be a certain chemical compound that is going to bind those cementing material. Okay. And what is the chemical compound? The chemical compound is nothing but it is a calcium pectate. Okay. So you can see there, so this is a cementing material between two plant cells and middle lamella is going to bind the two plant cells together. Now, in adjacent to the middle lamella, there is another wall what we call primary wall. And what is the chemical composition of primary wall? Basically it is a cellulose, then we have a hemicellulose and one more deposition material that is going to present what we call pectic material, right? You know, pectic is going to provide then some sort of stiffness. So that is why pectic material is there. Now below the pectic layer, what we see, there is a secondary wall. Now in case of secondary wall, there is another additional material is present what we call lignin, right? So you just see, in primary wall lignin is not there, but in case of secondary wall lignin is there. That is the very unique thing about the secondary wall. Now if you talk about tertiary wall, in case of tertiary wall again the pectic material is there, but mind it is not always the case that that tertiary wall is going to be there. It may be present, it may not be present. Okay, but the most importantly what happens that the tertiary wall is always found in case of the tracheates of the gymnosperm. You know, gymnosperm is the lower plants. So that is the chemical composition of the entire cell wall, right? Now next comes that what is the biosynthesis, that how actually it is being synthesized. The cell wall, you know, is the dead material, but primarily it is going to be synthesized with the help of Golgi body only, right? So cell wall materials are synthesized by Golgi body. Okay. Right, now let's talk about the last thing what we call plasmodesmata. Now what is plasmodesmata? That is a junction between two adjoining cells. So two adjoining cells is going to communicate with each other by a plasmodesmata, right? So if I say the very composition of the plasmodesmata, so what we can say, that is a cytoplasmic bridge between two adjacent cells, and it is going to contain endoplasmic reticulum, and very interestingly we use the term what we call desmotubules. That is nothing but it is a component of the ER or endoplasmic reticulum. So that is about the plasmodesmata. Like the cell junctions that is going to found in case of animal cells, like tight junctions, adherence junctions, right, desmosomes. So plasmodesmata is the junctions that is going to found in case of plant cell only, right? So this is all as far as entire plant cell is concerned. Okay, thank you.